Mita speaking here, your astrology journalist, your only source for current astrology news. I tell you what the headlines will say, and this is Synastry expert. I also deal with relationships here, all types of relationships. I analyze them. I tell you what's going to happen to your situation, whether it's profession, personal, non particular. That's what I do here. And Mercury has gone into Leo, finally out of the Cancer sign. It is a good sign, and Mercury is 100% comfortable in Leo, so we are getting better communications than before. People are expressing themselves much better, clearer thought, more creative this time around, and it is obviously with Ketu and Sun. So what it also means is that there might be a lot of breakages in communications whereby people start talking and all of a sudden their communication gets cut, meaning that even if it's a contract or a negotiation, there could be some cuts. So you just watch out for that. If you are getting into a contract, that there is a high possibility of that contract being suddenly ended or not going the way that you would have envisioned. And of course, looking at Venus in Cancer, in very comfortable in Cancer at this time. Venus here, what is happening now is it is alone, so it's no longer with Mercury, and therefore it is starting to show its own traits, its own qualities, and what it can do in Cancer. A lot of people will be feeling a lot of vibe in terms of feeling good, wanting to love, wanting to be loved, receiving that love, and also in terms of comfort and conveniences, because when you talk about Cancer, we're talking about the home and where the resources are, the way the comfort is. So this is what is happening. I also would advise people that particularly on the first, which is today, because today actually it is the first, and the time it is 25 past midnight, so just 25 minutes past midnight on the first. And today it is definitely a good day to go all out in terms of your comfort, your love, your affection, and everything that Venus represents. So there's a lot of nurturing that I'm seeing. There's a lot of there could also be like celebrations today, whereby people just want to eat. But I do see some of these celebrations could be private, so intimate celebrations, or private celebrations whereby not everyone is invited, but those intimate celebrations are definitely heartfelt. They are giving the right mood, and it's probably between people that trust each other. So I do see a whole lot of not wanting to invite other people that you don't know or that you're not trusting. So I do see that environment. So when it comes also to your love, Venus, I also do see for endings in terms of some relationships around the 4th. So just make sure that today you you enjoy yourselves, but also you recommit. So today could be a very good day to recommit to your love, to your partner, and to your relationship, of course. Right, but we must also always remember that we are having the Saturn and Neptune going retrograde. They continue to go retrograde at this time, and it does have an impact in everything that is happening around us, whether it's your personal relationship or your professional relationship. So just be mindful of this, and because of this retrograde motion in terms of Saturn and Neptune, I do also see that there could be, as I said actually in many of my other videos in the past, that there's a lot of undoing in terms of structure, in terms of commitment, in terms of what people are getting used to now. There could also be a whole lot of unusual commitment and unusual attachments at this time, and a whole lot of people committing too soon, people committing for the wrong purposes, if there's a wrong and right, but not necessarily for what could last, but in terms of what could be beneficial. So very short term outlook in terms of commitment, so do watch out for that. Now when it comes to Sun has entered the Leo sign for about 2 weeks now, and they said in the past videos, Leo is the sign for Sun, and therefore Sun is feeling comfortable here. But then Sun is not alone, as I said, it is with Ketu, and a lot of leadership being lost. We've seen this happening because of what the stars say will happen. It happens, unfortunately. And oh, by the way, speaking about what the stars say, I do have that prediction option up on my website. It's on the first page. I have had lots of people wanting the predictions, just interested in the predictions because of you guys seeing my work, like the predictive part being precise, spot on, and unwavering. And so yeah, that option is up, and I also do have my Synastry modules up on my website, and I just released a new module focusing on predicting without planets in terms of Synastry. And so you will be getting now a whole lot of people on YouTube predicting quite accurately, so do join as well and take up the course. Now I do see, because I will be focusing on the week from the 1st until the 6th, because it's always easier to make these bits and bits of weekly timed predictions. Well, not in like a traditional week, like whereby Monday until Saturday, Sunday until Saturday. I am just working according to my own dates and what I want to look at that time. And happy birthday to me. In the tropical astrology, I would be called a Virgo sign, but as we know that in Vedic, I am a Leo sign. And as I always say, the tropical shows what you feel inside, what you think you are, and what people see. They see actually in the physical form, the Leo version of you. So That is my sun sign. And yeah, it feels good to be doing this on my earthly birthday, but it is actually also my true birthday today, not just like the date birthday. It is also my true birthday because I have a moon in Scorpio, so moon is also back in Scorpio today. And so sun is exactly where it was when I was born. Moon is exactly where it was when I was born. So it is a powerful day for me today. But in terms of the global things, because I already told you what will be happening in your personal relationships and how to take care of those. But now let me be the messenger and get into what the planets are showing in terms of the headlines, what will be in the headlines, so that you have your news before the news is here officially. So I do see that on the first, so from today until tomorrow, I do see a leader, definitely. Oh, by the way, this is the part that some people find a bit sensitive because it's a bit about the world. It's not personalized, so not everybody likes to know what is happening around the world, we all like what is happening to us and don't necessarily care about what is happening to other people. So yeah, but then for those who do enjoy, who do care, and who do like to read the news and to watch the news, you get the news before you actually get the news from me. Yeah, so yeah, just to mind, that in these 2 days there is there is a movement. There is actually a movement or a plan from the north. So obviously, as we said, in terms of the north, we're talking about America, Canada, China, Russia, the UK. When it comes to Europe, the northern part of Africa. When it comes to Africa, north of Africa. So yeah, there is actually a plan to move a leader. So it could also be to move towards a certain direction, and there are a whole lot of hidden tensions, and I obviously I do know for a fact without even looking at the stars that in America right now there's a lot of tension when it comes to the presidency. So but the stars are actually showing, and today and tomorrow, the second, so first and the second, they are advancing with the plans. They are advancing with breaking the direction that is being taken. So there is a new direction, and there could also be some sad news. So do watch out for that. They are working, and they are working in a very critical manner to make sure that there is actually this change of leadership. So it is really showing on these days. We something that we cannot ignore from the planetary point as well. We do know that from the political point, it is there. The news have been reporting on it, but the stars are really showing it, particularly for today and for tomorrow. So I also do see some embarrassment or embarrassing communication or information that may be revealed today. And the first, remember when I say today, on the first, I also do see that it is aimed at making sure that the leadership is is embarrassed, is shunned. I do see that, and I also do see there is some hidden danger. We can't ignore that. I also already had talked about this at length when it came to the personal predictions I did of the presidents of the world. So yeah, just to watch out for that. I also do see, there's also some isolation that I see, or a need to isolate. So it could all obviously be to isolate, a leader, a certain leader, because remember when we talk about Ketu and Sun, we are talking about removal of leadership from their position, or humiliating them, or humbling them, all of these things. So I do see some isolation today, and tomorrow the second. So there's a lot of hidden plans, hidden, very very sly, very sharp, and they are just watch out for the heart, so maybe refrain from thinking too much, worrying too much, because just protect your heart. So I do see that when it comes to the president of the world. And when we talk about the president of the world, of course we are talking about Mr. Donald Trump. He has been working, by the way. I must say that he just came in and he's been working non-stop, so he might need a bit of rest, and just not to think too hard. Relax your heart, protect your heart, relax your heart. I also do see that there could also be another royal person, maybe some news from the royal family at this time, or it could also be then we have different royals. We have royals in terms of the blood royals. We also have the royals in terms of pop culture. So there is going to be some news definitely coming from those types of camps, the higher ups, the higher echelons, that upper echelons actually of our world. So I do see that, and it is going to be definitely regarding the north. So the north, as I say, UK, mostly highly UK. The news could be coming from there, but of course, as I said, it could be a celebrity, because we do see celebrities as royals. Now, by the way, when it comes to celebrities, I don't understand why people always preach that you should not take celebrities seriously. I mean, why are we saying that, right? And many times, a whole lot of channels that preach these types of messages of don't worship celebrities, but they make their content to be about celebrities, and then go out and tell other people not to follow celebrities, and then they become the celebrity now. That part I don't understand. I do use celebrities in my content for research purposes, because they are actually the common people that we can see astrology working on when we talk about astrology. So I always like to be mindful when I talk about celebrities, and be, of course, aware that I am profiting by using them in our research. So I am thankful for that. I'm thankful for their names, and for being for us being able to have a common understanding when it comes to the application of astrology using real people. So now when it comes to the second, I also do see that it's a good day for creativity. So if you want to be creative, this is a good day. And I also do see some communication about creativity. So there could be maybe a celebrity that is releasing album or a song, or a movie at this time. A lot of celebrities have been releasing albums, music, but on the second specifically, I do see a release of a movie, a release of a song or an album, but there will be a definite creative project that is going to be released today, and it's highly likely being released by somebody who's already worshipped like a higher star. So if it's a movie, it's involving somebody who's already like a powerhouse. So basically, whichever project is being released on the second, a creative project is going to be released by a powerhouse, and it is going to also be so it's not going to be focusing on one person, it's going to focus on two people. So if it's a movie, there's going to be two stars that are leading this movie, co-leaders. And if it's a song, so it's going to be like a collab whereby they are collaborating and they're announcing this. But this is how we're going to see this, we're going to know this definitely for sure. I also do see that so between the first and the second, I also do see this country that has been supporting Israel, could be feeling burdened, or Israel is feeling burdened by a country that has been like a partner to them. And so maybe like a partner, they've been having partners like the US and the Europe and some countries in Europe. So I do see that sort of heaviness today, which is like the first, and the second, whereby they feel like this is our help or our support is not being appreciated, or what we're doing is not being appreciated. We're not receiving enough support here. It's not recognized, or there's no thanks, in what we do. So we're sacrificing a whole lot of stuff, but there is this lack of this support from from this country that is relating to Israel, or that Israel is supporting. So there is that feeling around Israel on the first. I also do see that as we have seen, a lot of people have been trying to come up with the idea of there must be peace in the world, people should meet in the middle ground. So that is going to continue throughout the week, whereby, and I do see a whole lot of movement from young people just coming out to say, no, we're tired of the war, we're tired of suffering through war. We want peace, we want good things happening. We want to have hope to look up, to look towards. We just tired, but at the same time they do understand that the reality is as it is, right? So they have that vision of, we understand the reality, but what we want for the future is a peaceful environment. Now, I also do see that there could be some news really relating to how I spoke about news relating to the eyes, and as I predicted on the 30th, was it 30th or 31st, there's this basketball star who was hurt in the eyes. For the first and up until the second, I do see something relating to blindness this time, not just an injury, but some news relating to blindness. So it could also be a temporary, definitely a temporary thing. It could also be induced because of is a side effect. It's a side effect of something else. So I do see news relating to this. I also do see this hovering. Actually, there's this hovering sadness, particularly around females. So there's this hovering sadness, or females being vulnerable at this time. So particularly for those who are nursing, for those who are trying to fall pregnant, for those who are trying to be fertile. So there's this vulnerability, and a lot of protection needs to be taken. Females, women should try to protect themselves. I also do see there is actually there are structures that are being set out, and also it could also be structures that are trying to correct something relating to women, and something relating to their fertility, something relating to their mothering, but then at the same time there is a lot of unclarity when it comes to this ground. So I do see that, but particularly on the first, there is a heated argument. Or hidden plans, towards this fertility of women, or their mothering, their ability to mother. I do see that. So, and it is definitely involving authority. So there are those plans. So obviously we're going to know about this. So what is happening now is that it could also be, how Mr. Trump, has been trying to, or even other countries actually have been trying to undo most of their policies and regarding to women. I do see that, particularly for this day on the 1st, and yeah, but at the same time there is a dark omen. There is a dark omen when it comes to motherhood, when it comes to mothering, when it comes to women, females. I do see obstacles, disasters, so they could be planned. Just unfortunate things. So a lot of protection needs to be taken. Remember when I said that when it comes to Venus in Cancer, it is requiring us to look at protecting our resources, but then because it's in Cancer, it's about nurturing, it's about motherhood, that also needs to be protected. And Venus here is here to definitely also talk about that, to talk about fertility, to talk about womenhood, to talk about females and their protection, and the need to protect them and themselves, and to protect just or preserve that womanhood, that female power, that mothering nature, nurturing, all of that. Because I do see a lot of mourning when it comes to this, a lot of sadness, just unkind omens, when it comes to these things. So and when I spoke about that blindness, it could also be in a figurative form, whereby there is a lot of things that are being planned by authority, and that are not kind, towards this mothering experience. And the people are being blinded, they are blind to see it. So it could also be figurative in terms of like that, because I do see a lot of ignorance due to that a retrograde Saturn. Saturn is about authority, it's about structure, and because it is in the ending signs, so it's an end of one process and the start of another process. So we just need to remember these things. I also do see actually some confrontation now. So there could be a need, or agitation, a need to, particularly for the leadership. I see that need to confront someone. So it could be maybe another leader challenges, let's say maybe Mr. Donald Trump, or the president of France, or the president of Russia, but then there's a lot of confrontation that I see. Oh, by the way, people should also be watchful of of not being addicts. Actually, I do see a story also about addiction today on the 1st and the 2nd. So there could be a story between these 2 days about a celebrity or somebody very well known who has addiction problems. So I do see that. I do see it's something that they would have been doing in secret, and now it has to come out, or it's going to be coming out, and it's highly likely going to involve the southern regions of the world and not the northern. So it's going to be a story coming from the southern region. So if it's Africa, southern parts of Africa, or if it's America, southern part of America, like Texas, going all the way now to the South America, and if it's Europe, the southern sides, Italy, France, because the Europe becomes the north, and so on and so forth, right? I hope I'm getting my geography correctly, but I do see a story like that. I also do see some, obviously it's going to harm reputation, it's going to be humiliating, such a story. So that I do see coming out as a headline on the news. So now I also do see, particularly now on the 2nd, I also do see a plane story about a plane. So this plane is going to be sent like to destroy or to create conflict in another part of the world or the country. I do see that. I do see a story relating to a plane. So when it comes to planes, it's mostly military action. So I do see that happening. I also do see on the second that and there could also be a need to be aware of your responsibilities, in love, in relationships. You guys, you just need to make sure that you're not focusing on fighting, because I do see lots of fighting on the second and the third when it comes to relationships, like just people not seeing eye to eye. So there is a lot of quarrelsome, lots of you go your way, I go my way, like this is too heavy for me, this is not nice for me. So I do see that. So people just need to be mindful of that. I also do see between the second and the third, now there will be a big announcement. It's going to be a happy announcement. It's going to be about success, or somebody getting into a position of power at this time. It is going to definitely be an elevation of a leader, or if it's in the entertainment industry, pop culture, it's going to be a big maybe announcement of a big project that will have a celebrity be seen, like, oh my gosh, wow, this is so great, this is a huge success, like wow, congratulations. I do see that. And it is going to also bring that glory around the person, but at the same time they are going, I do see that they would be taking the position or maybe releasing that project for getting back at someone. So maybe they were not appreciated, and they're like, look, I can do this, I can I can release a bigger project, I can do this. So there's going to be a lot of revenge theme towards that. And as if it's about a leader, then the leader is going to be replaced. One leader is going to be replaced to kind of like give revenge towards somebody, like they must feel something. So I do see a story like this coming up in the headlines. I also do see that there is a top person, a top celebrity, a top leader, a top country that is feeling like they are alone, like they're surrounded by a whole lot of people, but at the same time they're feeling like they are alone. And it is difficult to admit it to the public, but they must endure. They feel like, okay, this is what I have to do in terms of my responsibilities, and so I'll do it. So I also do see that from the 3rd until the 4th of September, there could be also well, let me look for let me see if I can find for great news. Well, in fact, all the planetary placements are just okay. From the 3rd until the 4th, I do see this is not a great day in terms of there could be a victim. So there is a victim, or there could be victimhood in terms of a leader. So when we talk about a victim, we're talking about both figurative or direct. But I do see this. I do see a leader being exposed in or to a dangerous situation. And most leaders at this time should be careful of poisoning, of being poisoned by food. Well, maybe not just leaders, but people in general. So we could be getting a headline like this, that there's danger to a leader, or a poisoned leader at this time, or somebody poisoned, somebody that is known, though it's going to be somebody known, somebody in the spotlight, definitely public life. So it's not going to be like an everyday person, like me and you. Well, me. So I do see that. I also do see that there is a country that is, or a country or a leader, their leader that is trying so hard to connect two enemies, two countries that are enemies, or two leaders that are enemies. And they're trying so hard because what they want to do actually is to get a new start, a fresh start. And it could be very frustrating. I also do know, obviously, that the president of the world has been trying to connect quite a lot of countries together and having a peaceful outcome. So I do see that again coming up on the 3rd and the 4th, like a story relating to this, or these efforts of connecting enemies together. I also do see that there is a lot of unpredictability, really. Like these days, 3rd and the 4th, there's a lot of unpredictability, and it could lead towards an ending, like a sudden ending. And it could also be an ending by water, like whereby we just read about maybe somebody who drowned, or something like that. I do see that. I also do see yeah. I'm trying to speak, but I'm trying to withhold myself from saying everything that I see. Just leaders must be careful, take care of between the 3rd and the 4th. And at the same time, I do see that from the 4th until the 5th, there is a feeling of resentment. Actually, starting from the 3rd, there's just this southern country or southern leader that is feeling resentful. So there's a lot of support that they have been giving, but it is met by obstacles. I see this. I do see that the southern country, southern leader is actually placing somebody, or in a country or a leader, on a pedestal, and they just literally flow with the wind. So if the north is saying, if a northern leader or a northern country is saying we're moving to this direction, then this southern country or southern leader just moves to that direction without any planning, without any stability of their own, so I do see a story relating to this. So it could be obviously controversial, idealizing, other people's plans. I also do see a story regarding to maybe like urging people to reserve, have reserves, like have food stored, have things stored for yourselves, have resources, have these types of things to help you in the future. So there will be a story like this, just urging people to take care of their resources. Well, like I've been preaching this for a while now. So there is a need to really like make sure you can endure what is to come in terms of the future. And so what we're also going to see is so it's like a country that, or maybe like the UK, because that's what I can think about. So it's a country, or if it's a celebrity, it's a celebrity that was a group, was in a group. So now they've gone solo. And when it comes to the countries, it could be a country like the UK, whereby it was part of the European Union and now they've gone solo, something like that. So there will be a story relating to a person that was part of the group, or a country that was part of some union. So this person and or country, they're not going to have good news at this time. So we're going to read something about them, maybe just being disappointed over something, but definitely it's going to be an ex group member, or something like this. And it's highly possible that the story is going to be around a travel, or if it's a UK, maybe traveling policies relating to travel, so it's going to be something like this. And it could also include a story about a car, vehicle, bus, train, whatever mode that can be used in traveling, so you could also be including that. But I do see some sadness about that situation. So if it's a country, maybe it could be a crash of some plane or something, right? Or if it's on a minor scale, it could be delays in flights, or flights have to be delayed, or something like that. I also do see though there is instability, definitely, because on the 4th and the 5th, the moon is actually just opposite its own place. It is in Capricorn, and it is not feeling at home. It is feeling destabilized. In terms of Capricorn, a lot of burdens are being required from people. So there's a lot of burdens, there's a lot of instability, and there's a lot of isolation. So I do see somebody being isolated at this time. And isolation, there are so many definitions of isolation in terms of the 12th house. So I do see that happening. It could also be hospitalization. Maybe they were a victim of something. I see that on the news. So whatever I'm saying, it is going to be on the news. So I'm literally just telling you the headlines before they become the headline. So I also do see that between the 4th and the 5th, there could be an announcement towards two countries that were enemies and are now coming in together, and they're making advancement in terms of negotiations and talk. I also do see that if it's about celebrities, then there is a couple that was broken up and now they're coming back together, or they're announcing that they are now back together, back in love. Also, I do see that, but at the same time, there's a lot of fakeness or superficial atmosphere around this commitment, around this agreement. So I do see that. And at the same time, I also do see that people just they want to move forward. Actually, people want to move forward. They want stability. They want to feel like their burdens are not too much, right? Because at the same time, people are in reality are having these things like, there's too much burden, too many things we need to do, too much responsibility, so much sadness. When does it end? When does it end? And I also do see that Iran could be on the news on these days. I also do see India could be on the news on these days. So they could be feeling, this thing of, there's a lot of responsibility, a lot of burden. We need support. We need to move forward. We need to move forward. That's what we need, and that's what we want. Just moving forward. And I also do see that when it comes to the 5th and the 6th, there could be now a movement toward stability for sure. So it could be coming maybe from that connection that I saw of two countries coming together, or it could be just an announcement of another advancement, particularly in terms of choosing the leaderships or the leadership itself. They are now making progress. Finally, things are just settling. There's a lot of ground that has been taken now. So we're seeing news announcement. Wow. I also do see that a lot of people are. It's such a happy day. Finally, a lot of people, they feeling like we can see stability coming. We can see some new beginnings coming. We are hopeful, particularly the North. If they are like a country from the North or a superstar from the North, they feel like there's hope. But I must unfortunately say that this would be short-lived, because I do see a conflict coming right after this announcement or this feeling, and it would be due to just people being stubborn, really, right? But it doesn't take away the feeling of feeling good, feeling news. But they must just make sure they don't take actions with an impulse at this time. But it's definitely a beautiful day, beautiful news. Just the news will be reporting quite light stuff, like nice stuff, announcement, and protection, defense. It's just people feeling a rebirth, renewed. So some stable powers. Yeah, just take care, because as I said, it's not gonna be for a long time. It's gonna be short, temporary feeling, but it's going to be there nonetheless. We're going to have some positive news on this day. So, and then thereafter, so maybe the 6th in the afternoon, or the 5th at night, and then we see maybe another story at this time. So maybe another story relating to Iran, relating to these red zone points right now. Israel, India. I wanted to say India because I'm saying Iran, Israel, right? So it's India, Iran, and India, Iran, and Israel. So I do see some piercing news, like just not nice news from these parts of the world. But in terms of the north, definitely some good news coming. I also do see that between the 5th and the 6th, there is progress, guys. There is progress. There is finally progress. I just see a supportive system. I just see a service that is rendered with warmth. I see a guiding force, from the north at this time. So I do see a lot of changes, but the changes are for good. That's the thing. The changes are for good purposes. So lots of changes, and they are for good purposes. But the thing is that when it comes to these red point zones that I just mentioned, which are the Iran, Israel, the ICE, and India, I do see some news regarding to just fear of change, like not wanting to change, and maybe their change is relating or connected to one of the northern countries, so America, Europe, or something like that. So I do see that. And yeah, so basically just news that I'm not making these countries happy. So obviously relating to policies, when I think about this, relating to policies or things that they need to do. And maybe for Iran is the story about the nuclear stuff. So yeah, that is it for this week between the 1st and the 6th. So yeah, a mixture of good news and a mixture of not so good news. So finally we have really like some news, hope to look towards, because not everything is always going to be the same. Things change, the weather changes, seasons change, right? And we are in the front row of seeing those changes, and before they even happen. So this is me, Tara, your astrology journalist, because I break the news before the news happens. So chat to you soon. Thank you for now. Be in touch.